Welcome to an insightful exercise where you will experience three things: reclaiming some of your creative genius from when you were 5 years old, practicing quieting your mind, and noticing your inner critic. Remember, I told you that there is an artist in each of us. There is an artist in you. So when I talk about freeing your inner artist, I'm talking about a few things. One of them is remembering how to play creatively. There are so many benefits of creativity for adults. Play can make you feel happy and free. Relaxing into play also makes you feel connected to your intuition. It helps you feel more joyful and alive. I love this quote from George Bernard Shaw. We don't stop playing because we grow old. We grow old because we stop playing. If you like this quote, this is another one that you can include in your art journal. In a few minutes, I will invite you to create and play in your art journal. But first, let's practice quieting your mind. In this course, you will learn to meditate. Let's take a first step on that journey now and do some mindful breathing and some imagination work. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Take a slow, deep, intentional breath in through your nose and out again through your nose. You don't need to match your breath to my words. Go at your own pace on your breathing. Notice your breath, paying attention to the inhale and the exhale. Being intentional, feeling your breath entering and leaving your body, going at your own pace. Notice breathing slowly and deeply, intentionally. Really experience it. Notice your breath flowing into your chest, rib cage and belly, and out again. Keeping your eyes closed, with each inhale and exhale, become more relaxed and more comfortable. And notice that as you focus on your breath, your mind becomes quieter. Continue to breathe mindfully as you listen to my words, noticing the inflow and outflow of your breath, staying relaxed and comfortable. There is a continuity of awareness within you that has been with you all your life. And that awareness is the same before and after each passing thought and experience. Even as the constant stream of your life experiences change, the experiencer within you has always been there. That aware presence is with you now and was with you when you were 5 years old. It is always there waiting for you to make the connection with it. And once the connection is made, you realize that you have access to your inner wisdom, your intuition. When you feel confident that you are connected to your intuition, exciting things begin to emerge: more joy, creativity without effort, struggle, or judgment. In this simple experience, you are purely being yourself. You are experiencing your breath with a quiet mind. Nothing more than this is needed to feel connected to your inner intelligence, your intuition. As effortless as it is to notice yourself, it's just as effortless to quiet your mind and connect to your intuition. There's no work to do, nothing to fix or repair. You have a world of potential hidden inside you. You just need to quiet down and access it. Just being intentional in your breath can take you there, as you're doing right now. Now that you are accessing your inner stillness, let's spend a couple of minutes more in this connection. Take a moment to consider this centering thought. Creativity is my birthright. Mentally repeat it to yourself. Creativity is my birthright. Creativity is my birthright. And that same creativity that bubbled up inside you when you were 5 years old is still there, waiting within you, hoping you will take a moment to play. Creativity, your birthright, has been in you your whole life. Can you remember what it felt like to be 5 years old? Recapture that feeling. Once you learn to tap into this creative source within you, you feel the wonderful connection to your imagination and intuition, and you can access it at any time. Remember the excitement and the freedom of being 5 years old and creating something. Remember yourself coloring with crayons, or playing in the mud, or building something with blocks. Right now, here with your eyes closed, feel yourself as you were at 5 years old. Pretend that you are there. Really feel it. Imagine you're 5 years old, you're imaginative, you're creative, you're innocent, with no inner critic, ready to play. And when you feel ready, open your eyes. So congratulations, you just quieted your mind. You used your breath as a kind of meditation. And now let's invite your inner artist to play. So if you haven't already, open your eyes and take your art journal and a marker or a pen or pencil, and calling forth your inner 5-year-old, I invite you to draw just as you might have then. With joy and freedom, it will be perfectly imperfect. No one else needs to see it. No one else cares what it looks like. Go for the feeling, not the end result. Maybe you will draw the sun or moon. Draw your childhood home. Draw a tree, a flower, maybe a stick figure of yourself, and add some friends and family. Maybe a pet. Just go fast and easily. Just draw and create without any critique, without any judgment. Keep it very simple and innocent and free, and feel that creativity bubble up inside you as though you were 5 years old again. Around 5 years old, you had some experiences making art. Enjoy how it feels to create something like that again. If your inner critic is making any commentary about your creativity, just notice it. Becoming more aware of when that voice within you begins to suppress your creativity is very important to understand. On the same page as you're drawing, now add to the page and write down some words that describe some of your first creative experiences. You can put those words on the same page as you're drawing. Those words or memories might have positive or not so positive connotations. I have a positive memory of my mother encouraging me because I loved to make up poems as a kindergartner. Before I could even write, I loved rhyming. You know, cat and hat and school and fool and cup and up and can and plan. And she praised me for my creativity, and years later, I found out she wrote down my simple poems and saved them in a special scrapbook. And when I graduated from high school, she presented me with this scrapbook of the poems I made up. I remember finger painting. I loved the feel of the paint, the smock I wore, how it felt to create something uniquely mine. I remember getting a big box of Crayola crayons and a new coloring book, and I was so excited. So keep adding artwork and memories to your page as you listen to me talk. I remember using safety scissors in kindergarten and cutting and then gluing primary colors of construction paper, making a collage. I remember the smell of that kindergarten glue. What are some of your creative memories from childhood? How did it feel to create? Do you think you could feel that way again? In a not so positive memory, I remember coloring outside the lines, feeling badly about it. My inner critic was starting to emerge like it does for all of us. If you have some of those memories, whether positive or negative, just write them down on your page. What are some of your memories? When were you encouraged? When were you criticized? At about what age did your inner critic rear its head? If you like, you can draw your inner critic and some of the messages your critic likes to give you. Give him or her a name and a persona. Here are some inner critic drawings to give you inspiration. If you will do some inner work, you may better understand when and how your critic was born, and even whose voice that critic represents. Your critic might be judging your creative work, and much of your other work and decisions also. Your inner critic's voice might come from a parent, teacher, or a role model who said or implied that you or your work weren't good enough, or wrote you off as not worthy of attention. It may be because a sibling was seen as the family success story, because an absent parent withheld love or approval, because of a family norm of never asking for help. Even people who have had pretty normal childhoods have had trauma. From our experiences, or in Eastern wisdom traditions they call it our conditioning, a child's internalized and often unconscious messages can powerfully kick in even when we are adults. By surfacing when this voice was born, who it represents, you can begin to let the voice go and replace it with narratives that are more encouraging of you, using your creativity and self-expression. If you decide to draw your inner critic and some of his or her messages, that begins to tame the emotion that comes from hearing that voice. So many people weren't encouraged enough, or were even criticized, and it's no wonder that we suppress our inner artist. Do you believe you can become more aware of times when your inner judge begins to squash your ideas, your creativity? I hope you notice that there is something very healing about playing creatively and just allowing whatever happens to happen and not judging it. When you're ready, take a look at the page you created and ask yourself, what's good about it? What do I like about it? What's worthwhile about it? You can use creativity to practice being kinder to yourself, to keep your inner critic contained, and to find out what's good about what you create. Now, maybe this drawing you made is not going to hang at MoMA or the Tate or the Louvre, but it's amazing and worthwhile because you made it, and it is uniquely yours. To wrap up, let me give you a few more tips you can use to simply notice when your inner critic is suppressing your creativity, and some empowering actions you can take. First, practice compassion for yourself as a creator, for that imaginative child whose essence is still in you, and cultivate some compassion and forgiveness for those who helped birth your inner critic. Accept that your mind proliferates critical thoughts. Develop your ability to simply notice the thoughts without judgment or emotion. That is a huge step in the right direction. You can just say, oh, there goes my inner critic again, trying to suppress my creativity. Acknowledging this helps you understand that these particular harsh thoughts are not the truth, but just a construct that you can either notice and set aside or allow to paralyze you. You always have choice. Instead of listening to or believing that harsh voice, expand your repertoire and replace it with one that speaks with more insight and self-compassion. This wiser, more enlightened self is also within you. I think you'll find that the more you meditate, the more this larger sense of self will prevail within you. We will dive into meditation soon. I think you will find that this will be an enormous advantage as you cultivate your creativity and imagination. So now let's take a look at where we've been and where we are going. You are now grounded in the definitions of creativity, imagination, and innovation. You understand more about the neuroscience of how these functions take place in the human brain. You reclaimed some of your creative genius from when you were 5 years old and experienced creative play. You've begun to notice how and when your inner critic emerges, and you've used some techniques to tame it. You practiced quieting your mind, which is a great foundation for lessons to come. You will learn to meditate, as that is one of the most effective ways to open up your creative potential. And then we will explore a host of other modalities and exercises to nurture, cultivate, and further develop your creativity, imagination, and innovation.